Awesome. Well, welcome everybody to what I am incredibly excited to share. This amazing itinerary and amazing brand, Ama Waterways and Paris and Normandy. There probably couldn't be two better things to say in one sentence than those two. So today it's all going to be about river cruising, what is river cruising, and why AMA Waterways, but more importantly, this amazing itinerary and this amazing opportunity. I love river cruising, and there's no better way to do it than to share with some amazing prices and promotions. So, what I will say is if you have any questions along the way, feel free to just kind of pipe up, raise your hand, a virtual raise hand, that's fine too. I'd love to field all those questions because this is the time now to learn. And then at the end, we'll kind of talk about, hey, what does it look like and what's it cost? So awesome. Darlene. Let me introduce Darlene. Darlene is one of my partners over at Alma Waterways. She's going to be joining me today and kind of talking about this amazing brand as well as the itinerary itself. I'm super happy to have her join me. She's an amazing partner. My business certainly wouldn't look the same without her and Amma. So, Darlene, take it away.
And I'm highlighted in golden light. I don't know what's
Yeah.
happening here. I'm
I,
something. The sun should go down in a minute and then it should be gone. But thank you, David, and welcome everybody. I'm super excited to talk about AMA Waterways. It's certainly, I can't believe I actually get paid to do this job because it's just so fun to talk about river cruising. And it's certainly a wonderful way to see the world, a wonderful way to see Europe. And so we'll cover some things. I want to talk about AMA Waterways. I want to talk through the itinerary, and I have the disqualifier right from the beginning here. I did take a little bit of French at college. Actually, I took 2 years. You think I would have learned more, but I have a degree in German language. So I speak French with a German accent, which means it sounds horrible. So I'll try really hard, but if you just in your head say it the right French way, but I do try hard. So, AMA Waterways, we are a luxury river cruise company. We were founded, gosh, over 24 years now. And we just recently went through a rebranding. And our tagline used to be Heart of the River. We're still the heart of the river. We're the song of the river. But the new tagline that we really identify with is Journeys That Move You. And that's truly what we hope to curate on the rivers. And we want every guest to experience and enjoy a journey, a vacation, a time with family and friends, relationship building that creates memories that last forever. And that's truly where we get the journeys that move you. We want it to be more than just, I went to Europe. We want you to remember it for always and carry it in your heart. So, why AMA Waterways? There are many different river cruise companies out there. Um, AMA Waterways has earned its place in the river cruise industry, and we continue to evolve and to grow. We do have an award-winning fleet. We are adding this December, our second kind of largest river cruise ship on the rivers called the Ama Rudy, named after our original founder, Rudy Schreiner. We currently have Ama Magna. She's double the width of a normal river cruise ship. Ama Rudy will be very similar, same size, a little bit smaller, but pretty much the same dimensions. And our first male river cruise ship will be added in December. So the fleet is growing. By the year 2032, we will have more than 50 river cruise ships on the rivers. We currently have 30. So as you can see, there's lots happening. And we do have a full commitment to sustainability, taking care of the environment we're in, leaving every destination better, than we found it, and the people as well, making sure that we're taking care of the local people in all the different towns and communities around the world that we're cruising in. It's very important to us. We're well known for our signature twin balconies, and staterooms and suites. And you have an opportunity on this cruise to actually get an upgrade. So that's kind of exciting. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The service on our river cruise ships is outstanding. We are currently spending 30% more on food and wines. We've always had excellent food, and now it's even better. We have upgraded our wines to include 32 different wines. And you have options. So it's not just here's the red for tonight or here's the white for tonight. You get to choose, right? If you find one that you really like, you can always come back and ask for that. And our team on board the ships really work hard to make sure that your river cruise is exceptional and memorable and a journey that moves you. All of our shore excursions are included in the sailing. There is no extra fees for that. We do also offer up what's called the chef's table. And the chef's table is one of my favorite dining options. It's a specialty dining that everybody who sails with us gets to experience one time during their sailing. It is a multi-course meal with food and wine pairing. And it's just a real elevated experience and something you totally enjoy. And the chef and his staff come out and they present the food, they present the wine that they're pairing with it, and they tell you all about it. And it's just a really phenomenal evening. Because the chef's table has gone over so well, we are now opening our chef's table for lunch, and we're serving a Italian fare, so a pasta of the day, a pizza of the day, and a salad. Open seating, anybody can dine there, but you'll be able to enjoy that as well. And that's going over really well. Very, very popular option. We have dedicated wellness hosts on board as well. So if you're into fitness, you want to keep up your fitness routine, they're there to help you. They meet with you. That's complimentary. Entertainment as well, we bring on board is always very enriching and part of the culture that you're in, the community that you're in. We usually bring in locals from the different towns that we're docked in. So that's kind of fun too. And then, of course, complimentary Wi Fi and my Ama Cruise app. We always joke at Ama Waterways typically we spend more on Wi-Fi than we do on fuel. Now, the fuel prices were just significantly higher, so that was questionable, but I'm happy to see the fuel prices going down. So again, we'll be spending more on Wi-Fi than we do on fuel, but we like to joke about that. My Ama Cruise app is important for you to know about because once you book your Ama Waterways cruise, you make your final payment, that's where you're going to go and have options to pick out the different excursions that you want to take in the different ports that we're in. And of course, you have so many options and they're all complimentary. You'll be able to change your mind if you want to, but it's a great place for you to also have all of your documents, right? You have everything you need to get on board the ship in that My Ama Cruise app. So that's a real benefit to have. So where do we,
Darlene,
yeah,
before you get too far, like I
yes.
know obviously from your perspective, that was phenomenal information, but from mine, I always kind of describe Alma Waterways is like going home for Christmas.
Mhm.
That's what this brand will make you feel is just welcome. And I've been on other river cruise lines, and it does feel like, I am the traveler and they are the employee. But when you get on an Alma Waterway ship, it literally feels like you're just walking into your parents' home for Christmas and your family is there. Like you just feel comfortable. And it's really, really amazing. And it is up to throw. And I also want to say too, the chef's table is amazing. I actually did the River Cruise Expo. I was able to sneak on and do the chef's table twice during the entire event. It's because it's one of the coolest experiences with wine pairing to the food. But to kind of to back Ama even more, like when Rachel and I, she is on the call right now, we did our chef's table. She loved there's a soup that was made and they came over and was like, "Hey, do you want another one?" And she's like, I want the recipe for this." And by the end of our trip, it was handwritten out and given to us before we left so that she could make it. Like that's the level of service that we experienced on it. It just, you're just blown away at every turn.
Thank you, David, for that. That's a great explanation of how it is. It's just that you truly feel like you're at home and the staff really takes care of you. So, where does Ama Waterways cruise? We are the only river cruise company that is sailing in South America in Colombia on the Magdalena River, where we have two ships. We are also sailing on the Mekong, Vietnam, and Cambodia, which I have done, and is also a very it's a wonderful journey, and everyone should experience, in my opinion, because it's really life changing. We also sail in Africa on the Chobe River. We do a combination of safari and cruise, and then also luxury train. And then, of course, Egypt on the Nile. So, and then all over Europe, of course, the Douro in Portugal, and then also France, Germany, the Netherlands, Switzerland, all the way down, the Danube, all the way down to Georgia, which is way down on the as far south as you can get on the Danube. So that's where we sail. And there's just kind of really, I like to show the photos of where we do go because it really, this is what you experience. Colombia is known for the colors, the vibrant music, the food, and everything about it. So let's talk now about this Paris and Normandy trip that David has put a request in for. And this is round trip Paris, and this sails July 29th, 2027. This is really a special cruise. One of my favorite, I have not yet done, but one of my favorite that I'm looking forward to doing in the very near future. This is the one that I want to take my husband on.
Darlene, let's go. Look, come on.
Let's
Let's
go.
go. We
I
got a
know.
perfect
This is the
opportunity, right?
one. This is the
Yeah.
one. Maybe. We'll see, David. I'd like to bring my husband on as well. And I know that he would appreciate this. So, what is it? This is the ship actually that you'll be sailing on. This is the Amalira. She's about 360 feet in length. She was built in 2009, sailed primarily along the rivers of Europe. She accommodates up to 144 passengers. You're going to expect on your river cruise anywhere from about 100 to 144 passengers. So it's really, it's not that large. You're not going to ever feel like you're really crowded. They are boutique style cabins with French balconies. We have a crew on the Amalera of 45. So 45 crew members to 144. You can kind of do the math there. You're going to get a lot of service. They're going to get to know you. You're going to get to know them, and you're going to know them by name. If you don't mind, I need to tell this funny story because I just did a sailing on from Basel to Amsterdam, and I did the pre in Lake Como, and my whole goal of that cruise was to meet George Clooney. I tried. I was hoping he was going to see me and go, that was the girl I was supposed to marry. Well, I didn't find George Clooney, but when I got on the river cruise ship, the bartender's name was George. And George and I'm like, there's my George.
That's
And
right.
truly, him and I became fast friends. That's what happens on an Ama Waterways river cruise. They're going to know your name. You're going to know their names. But the Ama Lyra is a beautiful ship. And like I said, a crew of about 45. She's registered in Switzerland, and she does have the little pool on top. So this is a typical spacious stateroom that you'll see. This one has the French balcony with the chairs in front of it. So you can see what that looks like. We really, we really do tout the fact that we really have a farm to table experience with our cuisine and the cooking that we do. We don't serve like processed foods. We have really fresh food, farm to table. You'll often see the crew in the ports that we're in going to the markets and bringing back the fresh produce and bringing back fresh things that they're going to make. And typically the cuisine will kind of be from that region we're in or the town that you're in from that area. So you'll get to experience all sorts of different types of foods which I absolutely love. We already talked about the chef's table. That is a wonderful experience as well. I always love it when they come out and they stand there and tell you before they serve it to you what you're going to have and the what type of wine. I just love that because you know exactly what you're getting. One of the other favorite things that we have on our ship is our sip and sail cocktail hour, which is a hour right before dinner where we bring all the guests to the Lark Lounge and we offer a cocktail of the day, but really you can have any type of cocktail that you want. And they are complimentary for that hour before dinner. And it's a great time for you to get together with people that you've met on the cruise, your friends, and talk about, what you saw that day, what you experienced that day. And it's really about sharing stories and just trading, your thoughts. And sometimes you'll hear, oh gosh, I should do that next time. And it really starts to get you thinking about that next cruise that you're going to take for sure. But it's fun to share the stories. And then, of course, we bring on cultural entertainment from the different cities that we're in. Sometimes it's dancers, sometimes it's singers or musicians. Um, but you'll always have some sort of enjoyable entertainment that's brought in onto the ship. But of course, that wellness host is amazing. And then we talked about that wonderful service, and that truly is amazing. The cruise managers, I can't say enough about our cruise managers. They really do make any river cruise with AMA Waterways very special. If you do a pre or a post with us, your cruise manager will meet you at the pre in the hotel and welcome you. That cruise manager will, stay with you that entire time. Will make sure that you get to the cruise ship and they're going to get you on board. And it just really is, we call it kind of the AMA bubble. You're in this safety bubble. Once you are meet up with your cruise manager, it's like relax, everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry about catching this transfer or doing anything. You just now you're going to enjoy and just relax and let the cruise manager lead the way. And they do such a fine job. Anytime something comes up and you need assistance with something, they're there, right? And they'll do whatever they can to take care of you. They also stay with you the whole cruise, but also if you do a post excursion, they stay with the group as well. So sometimes, you would spend a lot of days with them. And I have
And
to tell you, there's not a cruise manager I have met that I haven't loved.
yeah, and the guy in the image right there actually was our cruise manager on the Alma Magna. Amazing. Literally, he was the coolest guy I've met in a long time. I think Katie, who may even be on this call, I think she had the first
Yeah.
transfer of the
I
day.
know. I was gonna jump in and say
Yeah.
that,
Yep.
Dave. Yeah, best cruise manager ever, truly. I had a red-eye flight out in the morning and I had to be have my luggage out and be ready for the bus by 3 in the morning. I'm bleary-eyed getting onto the bus, and there he is, dressed in his suit and tie to give me a great big hug, thank me for joining the Ama family, and wish me a safe journey home. It was so unexpected. I shook him. I'm like, "What are you doing? Go back to bed." But it was really incredible and just evidence of that over the top, really personalized service. So,
Yeah. And on top of it too, like I will say Amma knows how to read a room. And if the sailors are interested in pulling out the disco, like Amma will pull it out and have a dance party. It's not just violins and classical music. Like if you want to cut a rug, like it certainly can go on too. Yeah.
And you are absolutely correct, David. And my last sailing, that exactly happened. We also had karaoke. We were a little bit wilder, our bunch, and so we did a lot of
Yeah.
dancing and karaoke. So
When
you
we
are,
were on the Magna, it was a wild bunch. Every
yes.
night the disco was out. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is actually the itinerary of the cruise portion of this Paris round trip in Normandy, starting in day one in Paris. And I'm gonna totally butcher these, but Les Andelys, Le Havre, and Caudebec and Caux. Am I saying it right? Rouen, Vernon, and Paris. So you can see it here on the map as well. So you're going to start in Paris, you're going to go all the way down, and then you'll have your round trip back as well. But let's talk about what you're going to see. So, Paris, of course, is home to a plethora of iconic sites, right? You have the Eiffel Tower. If you watched the Olympics at all this year when they were sailing down the Seine, that's all I could think of was, we do this on our AMA
I know. Every
cruises,
time I
right?
see, every time I
Yes.
see, I'm like, there's a river cruise. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's just like what we see when we're river cruising. So you'll see the Eiffel Tower, Notre Dame, the Arc de Triomphe, the Champs-Élysées, and oh my gosh, it's just Paris is Paris is Paris. I love Paris. And so you'll just really enjoy that as well. Les Saints-de-Lys, the Chateau Gaillard, and the charming Les Andelys perched above the Seine Chateau. Um, uh, this is all beautiful. You'll see the steps going up to it. Everything, every moment of this is so scenic. You're going to see the Richard the Lionheart. This chateau was from Richard the Lionheart, and so it's really it has some really cool history with it that you want to take a look at. But you can choose to hike up from the riverbank if you want to. You can also do some biking here. You can take the bike through this area, which is really cool if you're more active. But there's a lot of different tours that you can take during this stay here. So you'll have choices. So it's again, with AMA Waterways, it depends on your comfort level. So if you're more of like, you want a gentler walk, you could choose to do the gentler, you're going to take a tour maybe that has less steps or just walks at a slower pace, or you can decide you're going to go on the hike and you're going to hike up to the chateau, which is a hike straight up, or you might want to do, the Les Andelys bike tour, which does a whole scenic cruising tour through this region. So it could, just depending on what you want to see and what you want to experience, you'll have some options there.
And
And of
those
course,
are those are manual bikes. They're not e-bikes,
correct.
for everybody's safety, just so you know. Yeah.
Right. And
So when you're
that's a
biking, when you're
question.
biking,
Thanks for pointing that out because that is a question I get all the time. When are you going to get e-bikes? And the answer to that is we're not.
yeah.
Because of the sheer fact that there's such a danger factor of you getting hurt or running into other people and hurting other people. And we want to keep this as just, a bike, a normal bike, a normal
Yeah,
biking tour.
when you do this and you see how many people haven't ridden a bike in 20 years, you'll be happy they're not on e-bikes.
Exactly. And that
Yeah.
would be me. I can't remember the last time I was on a bike. So you
Yeah, when
probably
we
would want
bike
to stay
through
away.
Venice, there is a lot of traffic that you have to contend with too, so you need to be able to be in full
Right.
control.
And the surfaces are different, right? You might be on cobblestone streets and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot.
But I do
So,
support the bike tours. They are amazing. You see a ton, a ton. Yeah.
right. And you know what? You can always stop if the bike tour ever becomes too much for you, you can always stop and they'll send somebody back to pick you up too. I've done that. Okay. So Unflo is this is a real artist attraction. Artists have loved to go to this town. There's a lot of museums here. It takes particular pride in its impressionist roots. Claude Monet and his contemporaries would often set up their easels and they would paint the different scenes. So you can see it's just a gorgeous seaside town. It's inspired Claude Monet, Alfred Sisley. There's a church of St. Catherine. There's a beautiful waterfront area there. And so there's so much to see in the streets here and the paintings. And as you can see, even by the picture, it looks like you should sit there and paint, right? Everything is just so colorful and so gorgeous, so beautiful. So situated on the banks of the River Seine, Rouen is actually how you say it, Rouen, has been Normandy's vibrant historic and cultural capital since the 10th century. So you have options here as well. There's a Rouen walking tour, a medieval walking tour, where you can check out the old market square, where Joan of Arc met her fate. So that's a piece of history there too. You can see the Great Clock, the Cathedral of Notre Dame, and the medieval quarters. So this is also very rich in history and culture and amazing sites. Taste of Normandy tour is also excellent. Enjoy the gastronomic specialties that Rouen is known for. There you have some wine tasting with different cheeses, kind of a charcuterie. Always my favorite thing to do. And I hear there is also this the Claude Monet's Magnificent Gardens is one of the options that you have as well. And it's really interesting because one of my colleagues did this actual tour and he was like, yeah, we're in there and we're going through this, you could do it of a walking tour through Claude Monet's house, or you could do this bike tour that takes you through kind of this meadowed area and you come up upon the house here. And all of a sudden the guide will tell you to put your hands up like this and picture, and then you turn and all of a sudden you're framing what Claude Monet has painted and it's it's in your sights. And you're just like, oh my gosh, this is so spectacular. So that's an option out as well. And as you can see, everything about the Paris round trip Normandy, everything is so scenic and so beautiful. The gardens, when they're blooming, of course, are outstanding as well. And then while you're docked in Le Havre, you can have the choice of visiting the historic beaches of Normandy. This is a half-day excursion of either the U.S. beaches and the related sites or the British Canadian sites. So you have a choice there. Um, So, it just really is, this is powerful. And we've had a lot of guest stories and experiences when they've gone to Normandy. And this is where you're going to also see Alma Waterways crew jump into action and become well, they're already incredible people, but take it to that next level. Next level. We had a young man whose grandfather or something had died, and he wanted to place a wreath where his grandfather had died. And our crew went and made all the arrangements to make sure that he could go do this during his tour. And it was just, I mean, it was just very emotional, right, for this guy. And it wasn't something our crew had to do, right? But they offered to do it and they took great pride. He was just so very, very touched. So there's a lot of amazing things that go on here, and our crew will make sure that everything they will do everything they can to make sure that if there is something special that you need to have done or would like to see, they're going to make that happen as well. So you do have the options. And David, I can't remember, were you adding in the pre in Paris and the post as well? So you could do the add 2 nights pre in Paris or post. So depending on what you want to do there, and I believe when we talk about, we could probably talk about the offers right now, even
Yeah.
because this would be part of it, right? So
Yeah.
there are a couple different options that David was able to set up. Two different options basically with the sailing that we highlight. And the first one was a large savings, right? It's like $1,500 per person.
That's
So
right.
that's
Yeah, savings of $1,500 per person, or you could do you could do a pre included for free or a post included for free. So the pre is 2 nights in Paris, or the post is 2 nights in apologize for this, but is it Reims? 2 nights in Reims and 1 night in Chantilly. So you get 3 nights for free plus $500 off your cruise fare. So it's, either way, you can't go wrong. Like I have a lot of clients that love river cruising, and often what they'll do is like if they're going to fly to Europe, they're like, no, we're going to maximize our time. And that a pre or post cruise really allows you to to do that very thing for no additional cost, honestly. So do you want to talk about what's included in the land portion?
right. So the land portion, what's included, of course, is your hotel, and we only pick, 4 or 5 star hotels. So what'll happen is you'll check in. And then your cruise manager will meet you at the hotel, and then your breakfast every day is included in any of the tours or excursions that they do. And of course, your transfer then to the ship is included as well. So that's important. But you can just see here what the optional 2 nights pre in Paris look like. You check in. The second day, you have a hidden Paris and Atelier des Luminaires of Lights tour. And then the day 3, you have a tour, and then they actually transfer you to the ship. So it looks pretty much like that. And then you have a lot of free time too, right? So when you're not doing these tours, you have free time to explore. You have free time to go have dinner where you want to have it. You could choose to do your dining at the hotel because the hotels are very full service. Or you can go explore, which is what I would do. I would be out exploring and totally checking out the different types of restaurants and trying all the different foods. I do want to say this one more time because David was very fortunate. And I know a lot of people call you Dave. I call you David. I've
It's
said I'm not calling him Dave. He's a David to me. I mean, look at him in his green jacket. Is he not David? I think so. So David was very fortunate to lock in a promotion that this is the richest promotion in the history of AMA Waterways that we've ever had.
yeah,
The fact that you can choose, if you don't want to do the pre or post, you can choose to have the $1,500 per person saving, right? Or you can choose to have the $500 and have the free complimentary pre or post. But on top of that, you're getting prepaid gratuities. That's important. The prepaid gratuities are going to cover everybody on the ship, your cruise manager, but they're also going to cover the bus drivers and the tour guides that you see. So that is a huge amenity to have, the prepaid gratuities. So this is really a really nice option for you. And then on top of it, if you make your booking with David, like how much time do we want to give, David? I personally will put $100 onboard credit per
Yeah.
person on your booking as well, and that's from me.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, that's a good, I don't know. You want to give them a week or 2 weeks?
Oh, should we make it 2 weeks?
Yeah, let's make it 2 weeks.
Let's make it two
Uh,
weeks.
And I,
That's a good
and I
number.
also want to share too that if you do book into a balcony, you do get the free upgrade balcony too.
Oh,
So
I
you
forgot
can
about
all
that. That's another
yes.
amazing
So
thing,
you
right?
can
You get the
book the
upgrade.
lowest balcony category and will automatically upgrade you one category for no.
I don't know. I might need to book with you.
I'm telling you, like, I wanted to make sure this was special, especially if anybody knew a veteran that, this is a really special itinerary. I mean, it
Hmm.
really is something for everyone,
Yeah,
um,
really.
or
And even if
literally,
you're a World War II history buff, and you've just watched all these shows, to actually stand on the beaches is just amazing.
yeah. Oh, so we did have a question come in.
Hmm.
So it's what are some of the things we can use the onboard credit for? So that's a
Oh,
good
that's a great
question.
question. Okay,
Yeah.
so every day we have complimentary beer and wine with lunch or dinner, and then you have that complimentary sip and sail hour where your cocktails are complimentary, which that's, quite a lot, right? But what if after dinner you decide you want to go have a nightcap? That onboard credit can be used towards a drink. You could also use it in the spa and go have a massage. You could also use it in the gift shop area to buy something. So there's lots of different ways that you can spend it on the ship, and it's nice to have, especially if you want to go have a massage, and I highly recommend it. Or even if you want to have your clothes cleaned, I like that on the ship. I always send clothes to go have them washed because they come back so nice and pressed.
Yeah. Thanks for answering that. And I do
Hmm.
also want to remind you that it is July, so it's probably going to be warm. There is a small pool on the sun deck. So, when we went, we definitely enjoyed it during the day, and we also enjoyed it at night after our little nightcap. So, yeah, it's a nice little touch. There's always a small gym on the ships as well. So if you
Hmm.
want to hit a treadmill or lift some weights, as she said, AMA is very, lifestyle focused, so you're not going to miss out on that opportunity to stay fit while you're there. Um, yeah. Any questions? Let's kind of open it up to the group. If anybody has any
Yep.
questions, you can certainly come off mute and fire away. Any? Jay?
Imagine sitting in that pool on the top deck in the evening as you're sailing on the Seine and you're seeing like the lights of Paris. Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
just, I'm all over that right now.
Yeah. No question is a dumb question. Just so you know, we're all just focused on answering.
Right. Anything.
Yeah.
I'm losing my glowing light, so
Yeah.
I'm not as holy as I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um, so when we're in Paris, do you get to go, are we walking around and get to go see the Eiffel Tower? Or is it just, yeah, I guess that's my question.
So you are walking around Paris doing a walking tour, and
Okay.
you'll actually get to see that. And especially if you're there, if you do decide to do the pre, you're going to see it a few times, right? You're gonna want to check out the sites while you're there.
Yeah. Good question. Dina.
Me.
Yes.
For the balcony, I know you mentioned what I think you said was a French balcony. So does that mean there's no space to step out? It's just kind of a Juliet balcony, more of like a window versus an actual functional balcony?
So a French balcony means it's just a sliding glass door. Alma Waterways, and I'm not sure we have that on the Alma Lyra. Do we have double balconies? We also have double balconies where you have the French balcony and then you have a balcony that you can actually walk out onto.
Hmm.
And so you have two options there. And that, what's nice about that is let's say it's really hot outside. You can always open a French balcony to the outside, but if it's really hot and you've been cooling your room, then you could go sit on the balcony that has a door that shuts that keep your room the temperature you want to keep it. That's
Mhm.
always my favorite part because I love to sit out on those balconies in the wintertime, even with a blanket when it's
Mhm.
cold out and keep my room warm.
Yeah. And we spend all of our time on the sun deck.
Yes.
I always remind my clients because I think you get a little conditioned with ocean cruising if that's what you're used to, is, trying to have this balcony, but you're on a river. Like the world is going by you on both sides. And if you spend a lot of time on your balcony, you could really miss some really spectacular things by being overly private. Just get out on that sun deck. I will say, like, if it's Europe, so you're going to have some pop-up showers. Amo provides umbrellas. They have sunshades that come up that'll help keep you kind of out of the sun if you don't want to be in it all day. Um, but if it were to be cold, or if this was a Christmas markets cruise, they'd even provide you with blankets and hot
Mhm.
chocolate just so that you can stay outside and enjoy the world as it goes by versus feeling like, oh, you've got to be hunkered down inside and missing it all. Yeah. So I always tend like my clients who get a little claustrophobic, those types of rooms work really well because it gives you that fresh air you need.
Mhm.
Um, but primarily speaking, I think most people are either out on an excursion or up on the sun deck, you know.
I have a quick question, if it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where approximately she docks in Paris. Is it in a walkable area? The nice thing with Amma is that she docks a lot of times overnight, and you don't need to be back to the ship by any specific time, and you can go out and explore the city sometimes a little bit on your own. It does she dock in a spot that you can explore on foot?
If you can't explore on foot, you can get transportation to be in the city pretty quickly. I mean, it's not way far down the river, right? It's not that far out of. I was just going to try to show what it looked like when you're in there and you're docking. I have one of the pictures. Don't look if this makes you dizzy because I'm going to click through these. I'm going to click through these fast because we actually had a picture of. So you can see here. This
Oh,
is an example of docking in Paris.
okay. So that looks like Ile de la Cité, and that's Notre Dame in the background.
Right,
maybe?
right.
Okay, so that's a great spot to be
And so
docked.
yeah, usually there's like a walkway and then you have, I mean, here you can see stairs that go up onto the bridge.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a primo spot. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good question. Any other questions? Those have been pretty good so far. Main dining, let's talk about dining real quick. Main dining is often the way the rooms are set up is you can have private seating between two people, or most cases, they're larger tables, typically with odd number of seats because AMA does have a lot of solo passengers on board. And so they want to make sure those solo passengers also have a table to be able to sit at and, kind of sit with other people so they're not secluded. So you do get a variety of different looks when it comes to that. And then the chef's tables, obviously, group a little bit bigger tables type of seating as well. Sometimes that's always sometimes caught some of my clients off guard that they didn't know they were going to be sitting with others. So,
Yeah, the other thing I just want to, we've had a couple upgrades on the ship as well. So one thing that we just added is that there's now a menu in the Lark Lounge for lunch or dinner. So if you choose to, you're comfortable, you're sitting in the lounge, you're watching scenery, and you don't want to go to the dining area, you can stay in the lounge and actually order from a menu. So that's new with us. The other new upgrade that we've added is Nespresso machines in every single stateroom. So we have wonderful coffee stations in our lounge where you can make cappuccino, whatever you want, mochas, I mean, everything you can think of, every type of coffee. But we've all now added also the Nespresso in your stateroom, which is important because you can now have your first coffee in your pajamas, which is overwhelmingly loved by all of our guests right now. We've also added water stations around the ship with water bottles that are complimentary that you can take home. So you can refill your water bottles. And then we've also upgraded the beds, linens. We've upgraded the bathrooms, the slippers. So yeah, so you're going to enjoy some really cool things that we've enhanced this past year on the ship.
Yep.
So I have two questions. First is, could you talk about the food selection for those that have dietary restrictions? Like, what is the food selection for those that do have that? And then you may have told me before, but I'm assuming this is adults only cruising.
Well,
Okay,
that's
never assume.
yep.
Alma
But that's a
Waterways
good.
does allow children over the age of 4, but recommends they at least be 8 or 10. But I'm going to tell you right now, that is pretty rare on our ships. Most families don't want to pay for their children to go river cruising. There's no discounted rates or programs for them. That's not who our main clients are, right? Our guests are. So there could be a child. Not, it's very rare that there are children.
Yeah.
And then
And
as
if
far
they
as
are, they're probably traveled
well
children.
traveled,
Like this isn't probably their first rodeo, but when we were
right?
on our river cruise, we did see some uh I would call them young adults. They weren't children, but they were, early teens, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rare, but I mean it can happen. As far as any food allergies or food concerns that you have, that we'd want to make sure that that gets sent to the ship ahead of time so that the chefs can prepare for it, make sure they have what they need.
Mhm.
We are able to take, do gluten allergies, that type of thing. We are not kosher, and we can't be kosher. And even with gluten-free dining, it's one kitchen area. So if you're that sensitive to gluten, that one little speck is going to cause a problem. It's not going to be 100 million% gluten-free, right? It's gluten-free. They will do their best. And what's nice about it is if you do have a certain dietary restriction, our chef will come out and meet with you when you first get on the ship. And they're going to talk you through what it is you'd like, and then they're going to take care of you. And if you have any food allergies, anything like that, they work really hard to make sure that you're getting what you need and that everything is set to your expectations. And they do a very nice job with it. But the more information we have ahead of time, I think the better the experience is for the crew as well, so that they can be prepared for you.
Yeah. Good question. So,
Yeah, and when you're sailing on the Seine Paris round trip and you're thinking French food is not always my favorite, no worries there either. There's always some Western choices. Just
yeah, there's like
so,
a main menu, and honestly, I will say like I ate off both menus when I was sailing.
mhm,
So, nobody cared. Little of this, a little of that,
right.
sprinkle a steak on top of it, we'll be good. Yeah.
And honestly, Alma Waterways is known for their hamburgers on these ships. Our
Yeah.
hamburgers are out of this
Yeah.
world.
The food when I was at the River Cruise Expo, 90% of my meals were on Ama just because it was the best food there. So, yeah.
Great questions, though.
Hmm.
Anything else?
Awesome. Well, we definitely covered a lot. I know everybody's probably curious at what does this thing cost? And what I will say is if you are interested, let's schedule a call and we can kind of talk about, your room category, or I can send you, I have a one pager that breaks it all down. What I don't like to do is share that because the promotions that we have, it can get a little confusing on what things really cost. But what I would like to do is if you guys are interested, let's schedule some time and get on my calendar and I can kind of walk you through what your options are or what the best fit is for what you're trying to achieve on your trip. Um, specifically if you want to stay a little longer and experience a pre or post trip, or if this is your bucket list and going on this river cruise is where it's at, then I mean, that's really my goal is to try to help you guys achieve this, but do it the most cost effective way. The one thing we didn't even talk about is there is air promo on this too. So like economy air right now is $5.99 per person. And as you guys all know, economy air going to Europe is it's $1,000 a person, easy. And so the fact that it's $5.99 per is like I wanted to maximize the opportunity if anybody had interest. So, and we do have promo pricing on premium and business class too. So, yeah, cool.
Great.
Awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you all will be here. You would all be here and be interested in learning. I knew that this itinerary was special, and the fact that you're all here, just reinforces that. Um, and no doubt I'll be reaching out to every one of you, making sure that those additional questions get answered. And we'll go from there. I appreciate it very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.